Hey there everybody, Eric from OUTER LIMITLESS coming at you today with another video. Now in today's video I am starting part 2 of what I'm calling kind of a compound review. Now the reason why I say that is today what we're going to do is I'm going to look at a product that requires me to cook a meal. But for me to cook the meal I had to start a fire. So that was the other part of this compound video. Basically part 1 of this was me getting to use one of my knives, start the fire, and really get to the point where I'm at right now. So at this point the fire is burning itself down. I'm getting myself a good quality ember bed. But the reason why I need that ember bed is so I can cook using this 6-quart Dutch oven from the company Overmont. So before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Overmont who provided this product for review. I've looked at their products in the past and I've been very happy, and I expect that's going to be exactly the same with this product here today. So here we have a 6-quart Dutch oven. Now I've picked out a recipe that I think is going to work pretty well for me. I've done a lot of work to buy things that are pre-prepared, kind of already cut and diced and sliced to save me some time. Now let's be honest, the amount of work I'm doing here for these reviews is quite a bit. I don't have literally all day, but it's going to take me pretty much all day to do this. By the time I've processed my fire, by the time I've gotten my ember bed burnt down, got the food fully prepared, I actually had to go and buy all the food today. It is quite extensive, and I need to eat at a reasonable hour, and we have things to do. This is brand new. I washed it. I haven't used it at all. So what I'm going to do is actually cook a little bit of bacon in here. Now I've already pre-cooked the bacon to a good crisp consistency, but what I'm going to use is the bacon grease. I'm going to put it inside this Dutch oven. I'm going to basically put this over the heat, and then I'm going to use that to fry up my meat. I have some stew meat. I'm making a pretty nice meal here. Some sort of like they call it a beef bourguignon. It's like a French dish. Now for me it's sort of like a hybrid where it's not the true traditional dish. I cut down on a lot of sugars and carbs, so I'm going kind of light duty on that stuff, but generally speaking I think this is going to be a good tasty treat. Now if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. So now I'm going to get prepared to start the meat. So what I'm doing is, here I have some bacon grease from the bacon I cooked earlier. And that should be more than enough. And I'm just going to take all of my meat, which was already cubed up. You know, I just diced it a little bit smaller on a couple pieces to make it more uniform. Let's just get it in there. And so now I need to kind of smooth out my fire, get this on the ember bed, and we'll brown all this meat right up. That is hot. Need a longer spoon. Just removing the meat here, browned up a bit, and I just set it aside for now. I'm gonna pour out the rest of this bacon grease, and I gotta start cooking the vegetables. So that's one of the things you'll find is You really might need a mitt depending on what you're doing and the type of meal and where you're at, just because obviously the cast iron can get quite hot and different maneuvers. You may need just some sort of a glove, something that's going to help reduce the overall amount of heat. That's one of the things that's really difficult about this prep process, just getting things started. I mean, the fire is so hot that working down there is very difficult. And I haven't yet burnt my hands, but I can tell you I got some missing hair, and they feel, I mean, I'm not saying they feel crispy, but I can tell the heat's been getting to them. So for me, one of the things I find works better is just when I need to stir this, is get it out of the fire altogether. Okay, so beef back in. Woo. Add the bacon. All right, so now I have onions, carrots, garlic, the beef, bacon, a bottle of red wine, some pearl onions. Oh wow, that smells unbelievable. And then beef stock with tomato paste. And you basically fill this all the way to the top. And I need a little more beef stock, which I do have. So right now my fire is just burning down. I added a few logs just to get it good and hot. Now what I do is I put the cover on this and it stays in the fire for about 3 hours. So a good long cooking time with all these ingredients. So what I'm going to do is let that burn down a little bit, get this in the fire, and then we'll see how it does after 3 hours. Now there's a few things that can be done. If I want, I can cover this in embers. I don't think I'm going to go there. I really want to check this and manage it. It's my first time cooking in this. I don't really know what to expect. So in reality, what I want to do is every so often get this off the fire, get some new logs on there, heat it up again, put it back on the fire, maybe stir it a couple times. I just really want to kind of observe and understand and monitor this throughout the process. Like I said, first time doing it, and I really don't know what to expect. Ooh, baby. Ooh. That looks nice. I mean, it's definitely hot enough to cook. So I don't see any reason to need to bury this. I mean, that's just going to sit there and simmer away for hours. That looks like it's going to be really nice. Now, I didn't add too much in the way of pepper or salt. I figure that's for the user's taste. So I'm going kind of, I'm not going to say bland, but keeping it pretty straightforward. So at this point, pretty much what I need to do is make sure I keep a continuous fire on here, keep the heat nice and high over the next 3 hours. But this looks like I'm set up for pretty good success. So it's been about half an hour, and I figure every 30 minutes or so, I'll give this thing a quick little check and a nice stir. so the stuff on the bottom doesn't burn too hard. I have no idea what I'm in for here, but I can tell you it smells amazing. Wow. Alright, so the juice has mostly evaporated. That's a bad sign. Although this looks like it's cooking up incredibly. So maybe that's a good sign. I don't think this needs 3 hours by any means. I mean, wow. I almost feel like this might already be done, to be honest with you. I could be completely wrong, but I mean, this looks amazing. This looks incredible. Oh man, I almost want to just like check a piece of this meat. Let's cover this up for a minute. I'm gonna cut a piece of this and see where we're at. Let's just check it. Oh my god, I mean, that is cooked so perfectly. This does not need any more time. Let's just check one more piece, but oh man. I mean, this piece is a little fatty, which is what I wanted. I just wanted some good fatty meat for my diet. But let's see here. Try not to. Oh yeah. I mean, I think this is just about right. So I mean, this looks. And tastes. Absolutely perfect. This is done. This is a masterpiece. You guys have to make this. If you like meat, the taste of wine, the broth, oh my god. You guys are in for a treat. This is done. 30 minutes. Perfect. So here I have this Overmont stainless grill basket, and I just got to cook up the kids some hot dogs real quick. Gonna do it over the fire, and figured I could do a few of them at once. Now that's gonna squash down on this just a little bit, but not too big of a deal. I'm gonna get 5 of them in here, see how that goes, and you just kind of slip this collar in here, and at that point I'm ready to go and roast these right over my fire. So the problem I see is this is quite hot, and hot on my hands. So I kind of got to like prop this up somehow. Let's just prop it there. See how that does. Yeah, that's hot. I mean, that's definitely hot right on my hands. So in this situation here, just kind of propping that up on the log there, and then keeping the handle up with that rock. And I think as long as I turn these and move them a little bit frequently, I'll be okay. And the basket's keeping them from touching the actual fire. So as long as I'm careful, I think these should cook pretty good, and they're cooking quite fast. Actually, as you look at that there, they're already browning up. So I think this should work fairly well, as long as I'm careful. Now I kind of need to cook the other side of the hot dogs, like the bottom end. But we'll see how this goes. It's just kind of an experiment. Just playing here with a couple of different positions, trying to keep that handle out of the heat. I mean, even me sitting here is too hot. I mean, very, very hot. I've had the fire going for a number of hours now, so good overall heat. So these have to be getting close to done. I've repositioned them a few different ways. A couple little ashes here and there, but not a big deal. I found that now I can just balance these right over the hot rocks, and that's just about perfect. Now the handle is getting a touch on the warm side, but it's not too hot to touch. I mean, warm, but not hot. This little collar seems to be staying in place to keep this where it needs to, so I can turn this and twist it around without fear that the hot dogs are going to fall out. They've sat perfectly in place, and we're close enough now that I think they're about cooked. Alright, so sliding back that collar, this is right side up. And taking a look at these here, that actually looks pretty good. So looking at the overall, yeah, these are nice and hot. Not too much in the way of ashes on them, which is good. A couple little lines, and not the most even in terms of how they cooked, but overall I'd say very good. This worked fairly well. Now again, just a little bit awkward in terms of my ability to actually position this on the fire, but the fact that I could cook 5 hot dogs all at once was pretty cool. Obviously you could use this for chicken, meat, all kinds of different things, so overall pretty decent. So here we go, looking at the final product here. You'll see the meat, the diced onions, and then the pearl onions, bacon bits, the carrots, somewhere in there some garlic. The flavor is absolutely amazing, and I feel as though it's cooked absolutely perfect. Now granted, there's no more sauce, kind of all boiled away, but the taste is definitely left in the plate, so that's a good deal. So the best YouTube videos end in police or fire or ambulances showing up on scene. That is the case here. Unfortunately, the fire department came. Some of the neighbors didn't like my fire today. Yeah, I have some choice words for them, but luckily my meal is now complete. So I have some good eating here. I am very impressed at the way this went overall. I mean, very impressed at the Overmont products. I think they worked very well. The Dutch oven, great. I hope I can continue to use it. If I'm going to have problems with fire, I'm going to have problems using the Dutch oven. That is not the fault of the Dutch oven. That thing was absolutely perfect, worked extremely well. Now the cook times, I mean, that was just the recipe that I saw, so you can't blame anything on cook times on the oven. I mean, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Cooked the food well, perfectly. This tastes absolutely amazing, and I'm going to enjoy my dinner here. So that was well over 4 hours of total work to get this to this point where I can actually enjoy this. And seeing as though my fire got shut down, it's time for me to go. So alright guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.